Hey there paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's Anita the crazy geek crafter. And this video really didn't want to happen. Start off with showing you the things that I thought I recorded, but when I stopped the recording, it was corrupted. So I took my blue cardstock here, I cut out 4 rectangles with this die. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this. And then I took some black soot, distress ink, and I shaded in the top of the card so that it had a bit of an ombre effect, and not just the top around the card, sorry. I was thinking of another project. So that part somehow doesn't exist. So when my camera wouldn't record, I tried another camera. And it took me like 2 days to get the video files out of that camera, because it wouldn't connect to anything. I think I tried 3 different ways to get the files out, and finally they were all in my computer. The process of this card is going to be a New Year's Eve card, or Happy New Year. And this sentiment right here says a really Happy New Year. And then I have only one stamp that is a piece of firework, and it's from this EcoPark stamp, so that's what I have to use for the background. But back to the story about this video. So I edited the video, everything was ready, I just needed to do the voiceover. I've been a bit busy this week. This was the week where we were getting our puppy, so I had a bit of trouble concentrating on anything else. And then she finally came, and she finally went to bed for the night, and I sat at my computer to do the voiceover, and my microphone didn't work. So that is why this card is late. I venture that if there's such a thing, this video is cursed. Not the cards, because the cards are pretty nice. But the video really didn't want to be made. I am heat embossing the sentiment, and around it I'm heat embossing the fireworks. I don't have that many metallic colors. I have copper, silver, and gold, so that's what I'm going to work with. And since this is going to be a shaker card, it's not the end of the world. Let's put it like that. At this point I had actually forgotten I was going to make a shaker card. I was a bit tired by the end of this, so I just kept adding fireworks because I thought the card looked empty. Of course it looked empty because it was going to have confetti all over it. But it all worked out. I do like making batch cards, but I always make one all the way to the finish to start with, to make sure how I want to approach this. And the card looked very empty at this point, so I decided I needed some stars. I'm using some silver paint here, acrylic paint from Søstrene Grene, and I'm making stars on the background. And I decided this looks nice, but I would prefer if the paint does not get on my embossing. I do take off the things I can with the piece of paper. But I decided it would be easier to do the splattering before I do the heat embossing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I was not completely satisfied with the embossing of the words. Maybe it's because the stamp is new or I just don't press it right. But the letters doesn't show up the way I want them to. Doesn't stand as crisp if you'd like. Here you can see a comparison. I hope you can see what I mean. That the one I did first. There's some gaps in the letters, whereas the one I did twice looks far more plain. Cohesive, that's a better word for it. I am doing 2 portrait style and 2 landscape style cards, because then I get to use both my new stamps. The problem with double heat embossing is that it can go wrong, and I can foreshadow that it will go wrong. Especially with the tinier part of the sentiment that is written up on top of the New Year word. It gets unlegible if you stamp it too crooked and then heat emboss it twice. And you will see that. I will have to abandon one of the cards I was hoping to get 4, but I will only get 3. You can already see here when I put the powder on that the stamping is off, and it's because my card warped. I can't get it into the exact same position, so that one I'll have to live without.
With the talcum wiped off the cards, you can see how gorgeous they look. Now, like I said, at this point in the card making, I'd forgotten that these were supposed to be shaker cards. So I just go ahead and make the card bases. I fold the card bases because I always buy mine pre-made. I actually even did that before I got hurt, but now it seems like a hassle to cut my own and score them myself. And I was looking for the fit of the cards, and it's very nice, but all of the cards, because they're heat embossed, are warped. And luckily they were warped, otherwise I had glued them on right now. But I am going to leave them under something heavy for the night, and I'll straighten them out. And then I'll remember that I was supposed to make shaker cards. And I think maybe I forgot to turn the light to a less yellow hue for this recording. I'm sorry about the light change. For the shaker cards, I'm using cellophane. You probably know it from when you buy bouquets of flowers, gift baskets. I don't have that much packaging to use for these. I know a lot of people use old packaging, but I actually store everything in the original packages, so I don't have a huge amount of leftovers. But I figured I could just I could just use cellophane, and it actually worked out very nicely. Now I just have to make a mix of sequins and confettis, and that'll take me a few minutes. Of course, I've sped everything up so you don't have to endure everything. I even cut out the part where I was looking for some sequins that were not in my box. I make a quick box to collect the sequins in. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just didn't have a bowl on hand, so it's just easier to make a box to use.
There are many ways to make these, or many. Some use tearing tape. I prefer this brand called red tape, which is very annoying when you're making subtitles because that kind of means bureaucracy. So that's what the YouTube algorithm thinks it means when I say red tape in my video. But nonetheless, I don't cut the corners like some people do. I prefer to just fold them over and put them down with the regular tape. It does create a tiny bit of bulk, but I'm afraid that I'll cut too close or something and then everything will escape. So, just going to get these 3 cards made. Pour in the mixes. I have taken the bigger stars off to the side of the mix. I'm going to put 3 stars in each card. I don't want too many of the bigger sequins. That's why I decided to just put them in manually without having it in the mix. There is a 1 star in there, but I make sure to only put 2 extra ones in that one. When it comes to attaching the shaker to the card, I use a lot of red tape. Mainly because I want to make sure that nothing can escape. Again, de-escaping. Sequins are annoying, but I make sure the red tape is both on the actual cardstock and on the cellophane so that it has the best possible hold. And I add liquid glue in between my tape. Hopefully that will help if the tape ever gives.
Now that I am 3 cards closer to my goal of Christmas cards this year, I am hopeful I'll get there in time, but still, it's going to take some work. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll be back next week for another one, hopefully on time next week. And until then, I hope you'll be having a good day, evening, or night.